Good, good morning, everybody. Now I'm starting the live show on the YouTube and on the Clubhouse at the same time. Wow, multitasking Gabriel Julié is on fire today. Now, let me just put on the titles for today's episode because, guys, we're going to talk about something extremely important because that's something I struggle with for a long time. By the way, change the place a little bit, so maybe the sound is a bit different, the video as well, but the content will still be incredible. The key that I want to share with you guys today is actually really a controversial one because I see tons of people asking me on how to create content, be like, hey, Gabriel, how do I do content and what is the best way to actually do it, And that's a great question because I've been struggling with this for a long time. Actually, I started creating content when I was in high school, which is about 4 years ago now. That's 4 years ago right now. And the thing that happened was that, hey, I'm not English for those of you guys who know, I'm French. And that caused a problem for me because, well, everybody was looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing, Gabriel? What is this all about? Why are you talking in English when you are just French? Because I don't know if you know, but French are not really good at talking English. So everybody looked at me like a lunatic. And it was really hard for me at the first to actually, get started and make sure I created good content. But that was a great training ground to understand, okay, what were the foundations? What should I do? And so I'm going to teach you, show you what I learned during those 4 or 5 years of creating content, learning how to do it faster, better, because it took me way too long to figure out, and I don't want you guys to have the same trouble. Are you cool with that? So, because I changed setup, maybe I'm going to be a bit slower, but that's fine. I think I'm going to be okay. Let's go and share the little presentation. By the way, guys, if you guys are on Clubhouse, because yes, we're doing this from on Clubhouse as well at the same time. If you guys on Clubhouse prefer to see a visual presentation, don't hesitate to go in the description of the Clubhouse room. There should be a link to go to my YouTube channel. You know what? I'm going to simply put it in the room. That should be easier for you guys to actually check it out if you prefer to watch it or to save the episode for later. No problem. Or if you just want to see my face, no problem with that. I believe this is the one. I hope this is the one, because if not, we're in trouble. I guess this is. Yes, this is. So let's go. Let's get started. Let's wait no further more time. The title of this room today is You've Been Making Content the Wrong Way. Here is what you should do instead. As I talk to you guys, it's been now 4 or 5 years that I've been started to create content, and it took me way too much time to actually figure out how to do it. And I went through a lot of hard times, a ton of YouTube tutorials. You guys went on YouTube as well. You guys spent hours and hours, tens of hours understanding, okay, what is the strategy I should use, whether it's for content or marketing or whatever it is. We spend way too much time actually learning those things and not applying those. And that's the principle of this room, this club that I want to have, is to actually make sure you spend and we need to all learn new things, but we need to make sure that we spend as less time as possible in the learning phase and actually more in the doing phase, because that's in the doing phase that you learn how to do stuff. And I want to make sure that you get everything that you need and you can study it really fast, and then you can go and apply it as fast as possible. Is that cool with you guys? Awesome. Now, for those who don't know me, let me introduce myself really quickly. My name is Gabriel Julié. For those who don't know, I'm the founder of Julihey Media and Julihey Productions, getting you as many customers as you can handle in the shortest amount of time possible with a whole new way, little known way of doing marketing. That's what we focus on. Now, here is the subject of today's episode: making content wrong. You have been making content wrong the whole way, and here's how to do it instead. Now, make sure that you subscribe though, and you show up for this show every day at 8 a.m. Eastern, every Friday, at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's how we do. That's when we roll, and that's when we actually share the good stuff. And I want you guys to get the good stuff. So let's go in what we have for today. Why your content isn't working. And it's not what you think. It took me a long time to actually figure out what it was. but I went back to a few principles, a few things that always kept coming back and that kept me from actually creating better content. And I want to share those things with you guys. Let me go back on my camera for right now. And here is what I got for you guys. So first, the one thing that you got to understand, guys, is that, well, you should always trying to find the right ratio between selling and giving value. And that's something I've been trying to understand for a long time, meaning that, you know, you have those guys that are selling all the time, but not giving value. But you also have those guys that are sharing great stuff all the time, but never ask for getting on the list, buying their products. And those two extremes are extremely bad. You should always use and have the dichotomy. Now, what is a dichotomy for those who don't know? The dichotomy is basically the middle, the right thing between the two. And you got to understand the two extremes. That's what is interesting, meaning that, okay, I don't want you to be reasonable with the way you deliver content, with the way you deliver value. I don't want you to be reasonable with you selling. I want you to go big on those two things. That's why you got to understand the two extremes, but you got to use the both extremes wisely and find the perfect right amount in the middle. When I say, okay, find the middle between the two, it doesn't mean, I repeat, being reasonable and not selling too much or not giving too much away. That doesn't mean that. It means going hardcore on selling, but also going even more hardcore on giving value and finding the right middle between the two. There's nothing that says you gotta be reasonable in that. You just gotta go extremes in the two ways. Hope that makes sense. Second thing, it's about making content that works. Because I see a ton of content that's being made and that's got a 1, 2 likes and even mine as well sometimes. And I'm just testing out new things. And I struggle with that for a long time. And even right now, still trying to figure out what works the best. But one of the things that helps me the most actually to understand how to make better content that get better results from the get-go is that one thing. I call it the 3 categories. You got to make content that's in those 3 categories. And by the way, if you are able to create content that fits into more than one category, that's always even better. If you can combine the 3 and you master that and you're really good at it, you're going to get content that always works, always perform. So your goal should be to do that. And let me give you those 3 categories. So category number 1 is making content that's informative. When I mean informative, it's something that I'm doing right now. Informative is basically you sharing some knowledge about something that you're knowledgeable about. Now, you got to be good at doing it and you got to share great information. Now, you got to get good at this, but there's also another category that is to be relatable. Being relatable is something that somebody is going to understand. For example, I love the example of memes. Do you guys know what memes are? Those are often like the little photo montages of comic situation that you will understand and you will feel that it is funny when you're looking at them. And that's exactly why it's relatable, because those things make you feel something because you're like, oh, I can relate to that. That's funny. I get it. And if you're able to create content that's relatable for your niche audience, for example, let's say that in the chat room, we've got Precious that's selling cars, you know, and let's imagine that her dream audience are people that are having trouble with their cars. They're always getting people that are selling their bought vehicles and they struggle with that for a long time. Maybe they've got the common situation that they are having. I don't really know a lot about cars, so forgive me about that. But you can use that to create a meme. Like that, hey, that situation, did that happen to you? Oh, yeah, that's freaking relatable. I can relate to that because that happens to me. So you should always be looking at create content that's either relatable, either informative, or entertaining. Entertainment is the key. And by the way, this, as I told you in the beginning, if you're able to create content that fits into the 3 categories, you're going to be the king or the queen of your category, because if you're able to create content that it helps people by giving some great information that is relatable because they understand and they feel like you care, that you're creating content, something that's specifically made for them, and that you're pretty good at being entertaining while you're doing it, well, you become dangerous. So always be looking to fit into those three categories. But if you can pick just one at the beginning, that's totally fine. But if you're creating content that's in either of those three categories, it's going to be way, way, way easier for you. And now, last thing I want to talk about in this section is to not producing in a quantity that's large enough so you can see results. And what do I mean by that? Well, I always hear that, this is all the perpetual battle of content creation. Quantity, quality, which one is the best? Well, the answer, because I hate to make a choice, is both. What does that mean, Gabriel? You mean that I should be posting a lot of content with high quality? Well, I cannot do that. I got to sacrifice one or another. And that's where, my friend, you got it wrong. But that's here that we are actually, in this episode, making sure that you get your mind right about this. Meaning that, okay, the best approach to understand is that first, people, when they hear quality content, for them, they directly make the bond with production value, which is not the case. And I hate to say that because I've got a past in cinematography, photography, and videography, and that breaks my heart to hear that. But yeah, production value doesn't mean quality content. It's one way to add value to a piece of content, but you can have a beautiful video that doesn't work. And it happens a lot. So what you gotta do is to go the other way around. That's what I would at least recommend you guys to do, is to go the other way around and do quantity in massive amount. Why is that? Because when you're going to do quantity, actually what's going to happen is that you will be able to quickly see, because you're creating so much content, to see, okay, which one is working? Oh, that one works really well. This one, not at all. And you're really able to adjust extremely fast. So that's why it's really interesting, because then you can see, okay, what is a piece of content that is working the best? And you can just go hardcore on this one. But the problem is that if you went the other way around with like, oh, I'm going to create quality content, you will take a long time to actually see, okay, what is actually working and what it's not. But then once you know with the quantity that you did, what your customer finds high quality, you can just keep focusing on producing that and upgrade the quality of that piece of content that is already working. But you got to figure out what is working first. That's extremely important. And also, little note to that, when I say quality, it doesn't mean quality regarding your personal opinion. It means quality when your customer sees it, the viewer sees it. That's the real quality we're talking about. I don't care if you think it's pretty. Oh, it should work great. Yes, but it don't. So it means that your customer don't feel its quality, so it's not working. Focus on putting yourself out of the decision and the creating process. Look at what is already working, or find what's already working, and keep doing that. Do you guys like what I just shared with you? If so, remember, share the room, because guys, we are not done. It's just the beginning, in fact. And we're going to go into the next section of today's episode. Just let me go back into sharing screen. We are going to go into Q&A. Why is the sharing screen share in? Oh, it's working again. Awesome. Now, we're going to go into Q&As, questions that are frequently asked about content creation and how you can make sure that you don't have problems with those typical frequent problems. Question number one I see oftentimes: how to create content fast. One of the things that I would recommend you guys to do is to batch content, meaning that you take one day of the week, maybe one day of the month if you prefer, and you focus on creating content for a week, a month, whatever is the length of content you want to do, but you focus on creating, okay, this is content creation afternoon, and you focus on doing that, solely this thing. And when you do that, then you edit all the content, you plan it, and then you're good to go. If sometimes you got a little post that you want, a little update that you want to do, a little story, something that's relatable that you can do in the moment, do it. But the worst thing, and that's actually the thing that everybody is doing, is they have to, oh shit, I've got to post something today, and they got to figure out something, but because they do it so fast, it's pretty bad. But if you take some time to be in the zone, in the flow, to create some great content, and you do it all at once, you usually get better results, and it's way faster. Number two, how can I make content if I'm an introvert? That's something I struggled for a long time, because you guys see me doing the dancing monkey on the scene right now, but you gotta understand that I was the most timid, the shyest guy of any rooms you can put me in. Each time, I didn't even say a word, but right now I'm talking, and the thing is, you gotta freaking start creating content. Now, I know it's scary, and I know you don't want to do it. But if you thought about it, well, it's actually because you know deep inside that this is the right thing to do. And let me tell you a great thing, actually, which is that at the beginning, nobody is going to see what you're doing, which is good, because they won't see how bad you really are in the beginning, which is fine. I was bad too, and I'm still pretty bad compared to what I want to get. But the thing is, well, no problem. Nobody is going to see you when you're actually bad. So take advantage of that. That's the best part of the process. Take advantage of that and go start. Because being an introvert is just those little things that you tell yourself that are preventing you to get your goals. So get those. Get after it. Number three, why is my content not getting seen? There can be multiple reasons for that. Oftentimes, or sometimes, it can be due to algorithm, because they want you to focus on some certain things, some certain ways to create content. For example, right now, there is a big demand of content needed into shorts, YouTube shorts. If I'm doing this on YouTube, reels on Instagram, TikToks, short format videos like this. So when you create content that is in those categories, you usually get, in average, way more reach, because they want you to get in there. And hear what I'm going to say, because it's going to be the same pattern each time there is a new feature. They want to basically run as many eyes on those kind of that part of the platform as possible, so they can put more advertisement on it, and so they can make more money. It's always like this, always like that. So remember this, because whenever you are seeing something that is rewarded with a huge amount of reach, it's oftentimes because of that reason. So you can see the pattern when it comes for the next time, because it's always going to be like that. It was like that with Facebook Live at some point, with other things, stories as well, like tons of other things, videos, when they went from photos to videos. But why is your content not getting seen? Go back to, is your content relatable, informative, or entertaining? And make sure you are using the things that are working in the moments by seeing, okay, what is actually working, reverse engineer that and use it to your advantage. Those were the questions. If you guys liked it, share the live stream, ping somebody to the room, because we're going into the top 3 ways to make better content fast, because I don't want you guys to spend 2 hours a day, every single day of the week, creating your little posts on Instagram, your video on YouTube, because let me tell you something, you got other shit to do. To be honest, that's a life you don't want to have. I'm the kind of guy that went hardcore, you know, the Gary V. For those who know Gary V, the Gary V route, like doing a vlog every day. Oh my God, that was so painful. So let me tell you guys, don't do this, or at least don't do it the way I did it, the mindless way. Do it by knowing the things I'm going to share with you right now. Number one, you got to find your voice. When I mean finding your voice, how can you do that? Get creating content so you can find the best way you communicate, because you can find a speaker, somebody that's speaking on the internet, an influencer that you really like, and that you're like, oh, I like the way they talk, I like the way they do things. But this is not your way of talking. You got to figure it out. And to do that, I would recommend you guys to start posting now, do some things, even if they're not good. It's not going to be good in the beginning, and that's fine. Remember, always remember, that's the phase when actually nobody sees what you're doing. So that's the best moment to actually get started, which is now. And also, another way you can find your voice in your industry, for example, whenever you are getting to know a bit more about how you can get better, what I would recommend to do, and it's huge for that, is to do interviews. And what do I mean by that? Meaning that if you are interviewing other experts in your industry, you're actually going to fast track your way to get a ton of knowledge about what you do, which means you're going to know really fast what it is that you what are the things that you want to keep, what are the things that you don't want to say, and that's going to help you to actually find your voice. Okay, this is the values, beliefs, the knowledge I have, and that qualifies who I am, and then it helps you find your voice. So that's one of the ways I would recommend you guys to do that. Number two, know what is working. And let me like open your ears, open your eyes, wherever you are seeing this video or this audio episode. Remember what I'm going to tell you right now. Content research, researching about content is as important, if not more important than content creation. Content research is way more important than content creation. Why do I say that? What do I mean by that? Well, you can create a ton of content and figure out by trial and error what is working or not. But there is also a smarter way to do it, which means you should go hardcore on content creation, but you can do it a bit, just a tiny bit smarter. And this is by actually beforehand searching what is already working in the industry. And I always say that first things first, check out what is working. What are the main influences, the big leaders in your industry already doing, and what is already working? Because there is a proverb that says that you can always recognize the leaders by the arrows they've got in their back, meaning that they already went through a ton of stuff, trial and error to figure out what is working for them. And you don't have to do the same trial and error that they did. You simply have to be like, okay, this is what they're doing now. Well, they're doing now because they tested it and it seems to work. So let's just start from there so I cannot do all the things that tested out before. So figure out what is working. It's going to help you out to understand way faster how you can create content that works. Number three, as I told you previously, batch and plan your content after created, meaning that you schedule a day in the week or in the month, you take one afternoon, one day, whatever is the time that you need to have to create some content, and you batch the content creation. You make videos on videos, quotes on quotes, whatever it is, the kind of content that you want to do, but you make all of that and then you schedule it. Meaning that you're going to be like, okay, this one is going to be for Monday at 6 p.m. This one is going to be on Tuesday at 5, and you schedule that, and then you're good. And let me tell you, that's a huge relief, because I didn't do that whenever I was starting out, and it was stressful. And when I say stressful, meaning that you got like, okay, I just did my video. Now I got to edit it. Now I got 3 hours of editing in front of me. Then I got to schedule, do all that, the thumbnails. And then I may get a few hours of sleep. And then you do it over again the next day. Let me tell you, that's not a way to do things. Don't do that. Batch it. Be more intelligent than that and do it this way. Now, quick bonus tip, because I know you guys like surprises and bonuses, and I'm going to share your bonus tip. Use OPC. What is OPC? You know, OPM, other people's money. Maybe you know OPS, other people's stages, which are the 10X community, and you went to GrowthCon. But there is another one that's pretty cool and that you can use for yourself. Other people's content. And I talked about that with you people in this room on Clubhouse right now. But what is other people's content? Isn't it illegal, Gabriel? Like, shouldn't I, like, why should I take content from other people? Isn't that like not really legal? Well, let me tell you guys something. On the internet, it's pretty wild, meaning that, well, pretty much everybody's getting the piece of content they want. So, you know, there is one video out and then everybody's using it. So what I would recommend you guys to do is actually use what's working in the moment. Always going back to rule, I think it was rule number 2, to, okay, what is working in the moment? And you can simply use that and maybe add a little bit of your own sauce. One of the best performing videos I've got recently was, I think it was a video of Robert Kiyosaki giving an advice on finances. And I simply did like a video of like maybe 3 to 4 seconds video before that, putting an headline like, hey, read this headline, this is the best thing ever, and then just roll on to the next video. I gave credit to the person that created it, and bam, that's it. And this was one of my best performing videos. And honestly, it's way easier to do rather than actually coming up with an idea of the content and doing it by yourself. And plus, it's already proven to work. You see, I saw the video, it was banging, and I just reused it. So look for ways to do that. How can you reuse content that's already been made? You simply have to credit the person that did it. If you can find a person, because oftentimes this video have been so much with purpose that you cannot even find the original creator, that's fine. Maybe give credits to the person that you know actually did the video, but that's fine. The key is to make sure that you use other people's content, because that's a huge way to grow your business. Maybe don't do just that, but I know some people like Jay Shetty, I know a guy that's called Clever Investor, something like that, and Prince EA as well. He did that for a long time. Now I think he's getting back to creating more of his content because he's got a ton of an audience. Like he's got a big audience right now, but for maybe like 5-6 years, he did only pretty much like maybe 2/3 of his content wasn't content that he actually created, but the rest, well, it was his content, and he used the other people's content to get people on his channels, and then he simply has like, hey, I got this cool video, watch it, and then it creates an audience. They keep coming back, and then now it's pretty much like, hey, I don't need to have other people's content because I got such a big audience, and I don't need to have those other people's content. But it's a great way to grow and great way to leverage things that are already being working. Now, okay, I cannot register the room. By the way, guys, did you guys like this? Because we're not done. I actually got the best piece of the show coming up right now. I always like to keep this part kind of separate to the live show because it's really different in the way I deliver the content and in the way it gives you value, because I actually give you an actionable plan that you can use today to get some results. And today is going to be on the following thing. Let me share with you my screen on how to stop wasting hours creating content that sucks. Because it happened to all of us. We all were like, oh, we're going to create this video on YouTube, this Instagram Reels is going to bang. And then you look at the views, 30 seconds later, 1 minute, 5, 10 minutes later, 1 hour later, and still nothing. And you're like, oh, I hate myself. And I don't want you to have that thing happen to you. Now, I'm going to give you a step-by-step process that you can use to create content that you will know will work, and that will give you results. Are you excited? Well, here is step number 1. Step number 1, type what your customer is searching on YouTube. So you go on YouTube, you can go on Google, but I prefer doing it on YouTube because it gives you a bit more data and possibilities to play around. You go on YouTube and you type something in your industry. For example, I know, let's take, you know what? Let's do something a bit special, guys. I'm going to go on YouTube right now, and I'm going to do the step-by-step process with you right now. So guys, if you want to see that, I think I can do, okay. If you want to see that, go on the YouTube channel right now, and I will show you actually how to do it. So basically, you go on YouTube, youtube.com. You go there and you type, for example, what can I take right now? Let's take an industry. Let's take a hot tub, because I know a guy that's cleaning hot tubs. How to clean my hot tub. How to clean my hot tub. Hot tub. Because those, for example, if you are a hot tub cleaner, people are actually looking up how to do that. And if that's the services that you are doing, well, it can be interesting to know, okay, what are the videos that are working great to actually grab attention to your business? So I'm looking at that, and I can see the videos that are working. There is one for those of you guys who can see on Clubhouse. There is one on how to clean a hot tub the right way. And then you can see a video with text. You get another one, how to clean a hot tub, beginner guides. Then you got fastest way, how to clean it up after draining, step by step. You get all those videos. And then what you do is you do step number 2. If I can find the thing, you reverse engineer why those top videos work. So what you do is you go back on those videos and you look up, okay, what is the thumbnail actually? Is there a common theme that you see? You see some text, you see a background, you see a hot tub, of course, and you see what is working the best. You check out and you really analyze, reverse engineer all the things that are working great. for example, right now I'm seeing a theme on YouTube. You guys on Clubhouse cannot see, but there are two thumbnails from a similar guy, and I think he's the guy that's making the most views. The Pool Guy ML, and this guy has a similar theme of thumbnails, and actually it works really well. Then I've got all the plugins that tell me all the stats, the engagements, and all the other stats, and you can have that. It's called what it's called actually. It's called keyword something. What is it called? Keywords everywhere. You can use that. It's going to give you more details exactly on how to find all this data. But you guys can see, and you guys, okay, what are the comment titles? What are the descriptions? How is the video actually? What does it look like? You reverse engineer all those processes, and then when you get all that data, you simply do step number 3 and you create better variations of it. So you're like, okay, people are looking at specific content on this. Can I make a video more entertaining, more informative, more relatable? Maybe add more B-roll, maybe make it more high quality, but your goal is to reverse engineer that video, see why it is working, and then you do it in a better way. Maybe you just pretty much, I wouldn't say copy, I just say model. Maybe you do pretty much the exact same video with your own words, but the thing is, the video is already proven to work. So don't do all the crazy work. Simply go and apply what it's already working. And you can do that with any industry. By the way, if you struggle to have an idea about what your customer is looking for keywords wise, I would actually recommend you guys to go to answerthepublic.com, answerthepublic.com. And it's going to help you to see what people are actually searching for. For example, you can type hot tub in our situation. It is going to give you all the phrases that people are looking the mostest in a specific area. And you can have an idea about all those keywords that you can search in YouTube then, and then you see all the videos that are working, and you can take those principles. You can apply that to YouTube, to Instagram, to any other platforms. It works exactly the same way. Now, if you want to have a detailed action plan on how to do that specifically for your business, go and check out the Commandos Weekly Action Plan, GabrielJulié.com/action plan. And it's going to give you the exact step-by-step process on how you can do that. And I'm changing that action plan because, as I told you in the beginning, guys, it's great to know the right information. Now you just got to apply it. So go to GabrielJulié.com/action plan. GabrielJulié.com/action plan. It's totally free. You can use it, and it's going to be a simpler, detailed, step-by-step checklist about what I just talked about right now. So let's go. Guys, if you guys liked what I just shared with you, share the room. Ping somebody, share the live stream, because we're going to go over what we just learned today, because there are tons of things that we can take away, that we can implement right away. Number 1, content research is more important than content creation. And I always say that because if you know what content is working before you even start creating it, well, that saves you a lot of time trying to figure out what is already working. So take some time to figure out what did people already create that is already working, and simply model that thing for your own situation. Number 2, batching and scheduling will save you hours of content creation. That's one of the biggest things that I love to do, is to actually sit down and go for an afternoon of content creation. Because if not, you're going to spend 4 to 5 afternoons of content creation in your own time during the week, and we don't want that. You save a lot of time by actually batching and creating all the content in one sitting. That's way faster than doing it along the week. And then if you want to add a few sprinkles of your own content during the week, you can do that, but you do not have that stress of constantly being like, hey man, I gotta post something today. Now, number 3, leverage other people's content. Other people's content is huge. That's actually the strategy that Prince EA used, and Jay Shetty as well, and tons of other guys. But those are the ones that are coming up into my mind to grow their channels, to grow their big audiences. They used a ton of other people's content that was already proven to work, and they simply put it into their own channel, tagged the person that created the content, and from there, as simple as that, because the content is already proven to work, well, they grabbed all the attention. And that attention was directed towards what they were doing after that. And then, as simple as it is, they got a ton of eyeballs on what they were doing. So I would recommend you guys to do and leverage other people's content. Don't forget, check out the Commandos Weekly Action Plan. There is a new framework generated every single week about what we talked about today, so you can apply it for your business right now, because that's the most important thing. Action, my friends, action, ladies and gentlemen, is the way for you to actually do and get the results that you want to have with your marketing. Well, it was a great episode. Don't forget to share the live stream, share the YouTube channel, which should be right here, Gabriel Julié. And if you want to go on the Clubhouse room to listen in to the room, it's the Marketing Commandos Club. And we do this every single Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It was your host, Gabriel Julié. And I see you next week on the next episode of Marketing Commandos. Have a great day and apply what we just